I guess this is Hero. How's everyone doing today? Today I'm going over Venus's debilitated transit in the sign of Virgo. Okay, there's a lot of planets involved in this, so I decided this would be a great way to end my YouTube video drought of about a month and a half. Okay, so Venus is in Virgo, and throughout most of this transit, from October 9th to November 2nd, you have Mars, Sun, and Mercury in Libra, okay, which is Venus's main sign, and all three of these do not do that hot in Libra, okay, like they're not that good there. And on top of that, you have a Jupiter and Rahu aspecting these three planets, and you have a Saturn both aspecting Venus from Pisces and aspecting Venus's other sign, Taurus. Okay, so there's a lot of intertangling here that needs to be analyzed, okay, because it's very important to look at all the aspects that are all the angles that come in here. Okay, it's sort of like, if you have like a big soup, right? Like you need to analyze all the flavors in order to get the flavor of the soup. You can't just say, oh, there's mushroom in here, so it's gonna taste like mushroom, right? No, I mean, you're gonna get a little flavor of mushroom. Obviously, you're gonna taste the texture when you take a bite of mushroom, but it's that you can't just say that it's only a mushroom soup if there's other things going on in the soup, right? So it's like that here. So, but from this video, I'm gonna make it from the perspective of Venus, right? So Venus is kind of like the base here, right? So Venus is in Virgo, right? And it gets debilitated there. Why does it get debilitated there? Okay. It's debilitated there because, and I made other videos on planet debilitation and things like that, but in a long story short, Venus gets exalted in Pisces, which is the sign of just being like loose and detached and everything like that, right? So Venus being the planet of enjoyment, it thrives in a loose and relaxed environment, right? This is why people, when people are really trying to just relax and unwind and unplug and all this kind of stuff, it's not very uncommon for people to smoke and drink and do that kind of stuff, right? Because these things help you just really loosen up and relax, right? And this is why also people like to spend time, or you could say the general population, they would prefer having fun with people who are also loose and relaxed because they gets them in a more loose and relaxed mood, right? However, the opposite is also true, right? Venus gets debilitated in Virgo, which is all about over-calculative thinking, right? People who are always just like really judgy and like, I wouldn't really say judgy. Actually, that's not the right word. Although no one really likes hanging around those people also. But people are always like, just like kind of like overthinking their fun. You've seen these kind of people, right? Like, oh, why do we have to do this? Like, XYZ might happen, so there's no point of doing this. Like that kind of stuff, right? That's not a very enjoyment mindset. Now, granted, there might be other valid reasons why, you can't just, take a trip to Japan or something, right? There could be other financial, social obligations, whatever, right? But that's not the point. From a pure enjoyment standpoint, you want to enjoy in a very relaxed standpoint, okay? So when Venus is in Virgo, your enjoyment is not very relaxed, okay? Your enjoyment is very unrelaxed. It's not saying that, see, Venus doesn't own Pisces, it's exaltation sign, right? When it's debilitated or exalted, it's not necessarily a super strong indication of the actual material effect that will happen. It's just more the state of the planet is very good or very bad. So like, no matter what level of enjoyment you get, which is, you have to look at the signs that Venus owns, which is Taurus and Libra, in respectively, the things you can enjoy and the people you can enjoy. Venus and Virgo just kind of says, okay, no matter what I get, I'm really not going to be happy with it. Like I'm always going to kind of want more or not really appreciate it or something like that, right? So that's that. Venus and Virgo in a gist, you could feel these effects, right? Where you're just a little bit unappreciative or seeking more like enjoyment. Like, if you get like a cheese pizza, it's like, maybe I want like, would have tasted a little better with olives. Or if you have an olive pizza, it's like, I wonder what it would have tasted like with mushrooms, right? Or like if you have like a great, social outing at a restaurant, it's like, if we would have went to this other restaurant, maybe it would have been a little bit better. Even if that restaurant was a great time, right? That's not the point here. The point here, it's not about what's going on. It's about how you're able to enjoy what's going on. Okay. Now, you have a Sun, Mars, and Mercury in this sign, and in order from highest to lowest, they all suck in Libra. Okay, they are not that great. Okay, Sun is the worst, Mars is the second worst, and Mercury is the third worst. Okay, Sun, it gets debilitated in Libra. Okay, in just a 1 second summary, your Sun is debilitated in Libra because your Sun is the ego. So when it's in Libra about other people, your ego seeking validation from other people is a disaster. Okay, that's that. Mars, it's its opposite. So its main sign is Aries, right? Its opposite sign is Libra. Whenever a planet is in its opposite sign, especially from its main sign, it's not going to do that amazing most of the time. And Mercury just in Libra, I'd say it's the most neutral, but it's still not super amazing. Actually, I'll take that back. I think I overstated just to clump the three together. But Mercury does okay. But definitely with the other two here, it's not really going to shine too much. Okay. Anyways, just like how in a dish, one flavor can just overpower the other flavors. It's kind of like that. The Sun and Mars here just completely take over here. Okay. Especially them being like very hot planets and things like that. And the fact that Mercury, orbits around the Sun. So what this means here at a gist, without doing a full analysis on every single one, and at very high level, right? If you add this Libra layer to the Venus, so Venus is not able to enjoy properly. And in the sense of people, you got to really look at your chart or dashas and stuff. But for the general consensus, you could either try to fulfill that enjoyment through other people, but specifically like attention from other people, like not great attention. Okay. Like showing off your car or clothes, like stuff like that. Okay. And you'll have the opportunity, right? Because all three planets are in Libra. So you'll have opportunities, and these three planets will make it so that, the Mars kind of makes it so that you're more adventurous. Like you try new things, and the Sun makes it so that you're looking for that validation, right? So the combination of these two here, it's like you're doing a lot of new things for validation, and you'll probably get the opportunity. I mean, how much you have to see your dashas, right? But it's going on. Like let me tell you that much, okay? So you need to point of this is that you need to really watch out here, okay? Especially since you have a Rahu aspecting the Libra, and then you have a Jupiter also aspecting the Libra. So these do not cancel out. Don't fall for any of that silliness, okay? They will both add its effects, okay? It's like if you're driving a car and you have one friend who's telling you to drive out of control and another friend who's telling you to slow down. They do not cancel out. You could drive fast and then drive slow. You could just drive like a normal person and kind of take both of their advices in consideration, but you can't just assume that they cancel each other out, okay? And I gave a very simplified example here, but basically what that could mean is that the temptation from Rahu could be stronger and the wisdom from Jupiter will be stronger. So you'll have both. You'll have the opportunity to hear both sides very, very strongly. And with all this going on, the Rahu could kind of, really kick into high gear here, okay? But it's very important that you keep this in mind, that your Rahu is going to try to really, boost up the gas here and take advantage of the situation, okay? So just really try to connect with your Jupiter-ness. Avoid any disastrous situations. Maybe if you have a tendency of over drinking, don't overdrink throughout this 3 weeks. Don't do any silliness of like flirting with people you should not, like anything like that. Okay, don't do that kind of stuff. Okay. Now your Saturn here, not the best also. It kind of just at a very high level, because I'm already at 10 minutes, I see. It adds more frustration to the Venus, okay, which is not the best news, okay? So that's that, right? And like I said, this doesn't mean that the outside, like the world is falling. It doesn't mean that. It just means that internally you could feel these effects, and the effects are exactly what I described. That whatever is happening, right? It doesn't mean, like I said, some craziness is going on, but your mind is almost tempted to get caught up in some crazy situations because it feels like the current present is not good enough. Okay, I really hope that made sense. That sometimes astrology is not about, just predicting, like, when, the disaster is going to happen, or when, you're going to hit the lottery or something like that. Sometimes it's about stuff like this, where it's like, when mentally do you need to watch out here, right? Or could you avoid unnecessarily mental suffering or embarrassment or some sort of thing or consequence that happened because you did something because of the mental suffering, right? This is where the actual smart, like rational side of astrology comes in. It's not just, my perfect life partner is going to come, in 2.6 years, right? That if you have that mindset, I'll try to really shift away from that and go towards the one that I just said. This will help you way more, right? Because even if somebody tells you that, one, you have no idea if they're right? I mean, you could, do all the analysis and correlations and things like that and come up, and there is some benefit to that. Like, maybe, for example, if there's a person out, you have a very strong period, maybe like, clean up your hair, unlike I did, or I don't have it cleaned up, but be in good shape, right? Stuff like that. But that's the side of it that you want to incorporate, right? Okay, I know there's a highly likelihood of this happening. What can I do about it, right? Not just blindly, like, millions of dollars are falling out of the sky, or whatever you think, okay? Sometimes stuff like that could happen, right? I'm not doubting that, right? I wouldn't say stuff like that, but I've had experiences where it's like, you can't explain it, good and bad, and it is what it is, right? But you can't just look at, I would highly recommend not just looking at this astrology tool just for that, right? You're gonna, the saints and gurus back in the day did not give us this just so you can do that, right? They gave us this to help us make our decisions in our life, okay? So just keep that in mind, okay? That's going to be it for the video. If you have any questions or comments, as usual, feel free to let me know. And until next time, I'll talk to everyone later. And I really hope a video will come sooner than this break right here, okay? Thank you all for watching.